YouTube's. Okay, here we go. People on Zoom. Welcome, everybody, to Enlightened Masculinity Podcast. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, captain of IMC Nation, streaming to you from IMC Base 1. Currently have 6 IMC bases, about to open the 7th, 8th on the way, and then many more coming, probably 300 bases before I'm, leave this planet. And we have one of the residents of one of these bases here as a resident of IMC Base 1. This is Aaron Luna from Base 5 Phoenix. He's doing his residency. Shout out Aaron Luna. Let him know you're here. Oh, see, that was him in the background. And so this is streaming to the TikToks and the Instagrams and the YouTubes and everywhere, but it's also posted on Apple, Spotify, all those things. So if you catch this recording, or if you want to catch all the past recordings, there's like 350 of these, then go check out Enlightened Masculinity, leave a review and follow and all that stuff. Okay, so the show. I had this realization earlier, and it's probably an old realization. I don't know if there's any new realizations. They're probably all timeless. And it was a memento mori kind of thought. Memento mori is a Stoic quote, or just an old Latin phrase that became a Stoic quote of essentially you could die at any time. And it teaches you gratitude. Like at any moment, you really don't know. Like it could be as ridiculous as a plane crashing right now or an asteroid coming down. But it could be, you step out of the house and it's like around every corner there's something. And you just never know when things could be taken from you. And outside of your life, really, when something is taken from you and you still remain, like you're still alive, you still have you, it actually, this is the realization, it brings you closer to you. That when you lose things, what remains is more you. And when you have these feelings because you lost something, a wallet, a phone, a piece of jewelry, your money, your relationship, whatever, what remains is you. And you were putting your value and your attention and your beingness on something else outside of you. And it was just a reminder from the universe that, hey man, you're what remains after this is taken. Strip everything from you and you still have you. And you lost that. You got to nurture that. And I think one of the things that within IMC Nation, I mean, there are a few individuals, and I think myself included in one of those few individuals that was willing to lose everything to get what I wanted as a mentality, a skill set of communicating, just an awareness and a beingness that I take with me wherever I go. That at some point I was really skilled on the guitar. The problem was you got to take the guitar everywhere for people to know that. If you don't have a guitar, how do people know? Unless they have a guitar, but then you got to be playing it. So then you have that awkward moment where you're like, hey, can I play your guitar? It's like, and then it's almost like you're showing off or something. It was a very limited thing. So I don't need something outside of my voice, my whatever I need to communicate. If I lost my voice, I have my face and I could write things down. And if I lost my ability to, I don't know, all the way down to Stephen Hawking, like you have no abilities, but you can still write, you can still communicate with the world. And that's going to come from your mind, what you say. And that's going to come from your mindset and beliefs and values and things like that. So I was willing to lose everything on the outside to gain that. I saw the magic of a belief system and a mentality in that it creates your future. You make decisions on your mindset and your mentality and your beliefs. And decisions include deciding what to say, how to communicate, when to respond, when to hold back. Even emotions. I mean, they may not be so much responses, but, beliefs will change your emotions. You have a different belief about a situation going into it. The same exact scenario could happen and you get angry or not, different Stoic beliefs. I haven't been in a car accident, but let's say some accident or something, I drop something and it breaks, let's say. So I'm not entangled in that object or in my own performance of never drop an object, never break an object. Imagine someone has the belief that they should never, ever drop and break anything. And then they drop and break something and you see them internally break where they're just like, oh, and they feel bad and they're all apologetic. And they're like so triggered by this thing. Somewhere they have a belief that shouldn't happen. And that's ridiculous because you can't control all these things. So, I saw that this invisible thing that people had, their mind, was creating what they wanted in life. And I saw qualities of relationships and how people were making money, just examples, whatever examples I saw. And I was like, man, that just comes from a mindset. And I'm doing all these other things, but I really want that mindset. And of course, there's a lot of people willing to give their shit away for free. There's a lot of all the TikTok accounts, all the YouTube accounts, all the everybody everywhere that's trying to give their mindset away. But who's really paying for it? Who's paying attention? And then who would be willing to pay for it? Because it gives such an advantage. Let's say sales coaches are easy to commodify because obviously, if you learn sales, you'll make some money with their tech, and so it's worth something because I can use what they teach me and sell something and make money. So there's value to what they're teaching me. Other skill sets like a massage therapy or yoga teacher or fitness or something else where you're trained for, like, obviously what the person is telling me is worth something because I can go turn around and make money with it. But then what are you going to do with that money? You're going to spend the money to try to get something, some experience, some possession, which gives you an experience. And for guys, a lot of times they're going to spend it on either possessions that get them closer to women or feel like it's going to make them do better with women, or they're just going to spend it on women. But at the end of the day, they get all the money in the world. They're still going to want the women that they want, or woman, whatever their choice. And, you know, no amount of money, like someone was telling me the other day, like his mother, he's in the Alpha Academy, older guy, but as far as the guys in Alpha Academy go, and his mother's ill, and it sounded like one of those situations. And, you know, and I realized whatever situations I've been through in my family where there's been strife or suffering, and, you know, sometimes I might have had an inability to ease that in any way, but sometimes when I really notice it is when I've said something just in the conversation, because I've learned how to converse. I've studied the subject of conversation, which comes from mentality and mindset and beliefs. So you inevitably have to study mindset and beliefs and stuff. But I was originally attracted to communication. And because I've studied that, in certain situations of strife or suffering or whatever, to be able to ease a loved one's pain or suffering, which has very little, I think, to do with actually like curing them. And in certain situations, they're not going to be able to cure them. I mean, old age or whatever, or certain things out of the control, like the animal diet or something. But just that closeness of relationship to them, to be able to get close in proximity to their heart, to their mind, even at a distance over the phone. I'm so far geographically, but emotionally, and a heart connection, a mental connection, I get so close, genuinely, not trying to get close, but just in the quality of communication, and their suffering eases. And they felt so alone in their situation. And then to get close alleviated what they had going on to some degree. And that to some degree was worth infinite. It was worth a lot of money to give them, and because no amount of money would bring them relief. Like to the mother that's out the door, that's, you know, going to die soon or whatever. And she doesn't even know what she wants, but to be able to give her close heart to heart, mind to mind communication, and to see that relief on her, that, oh, and she had never known her son that way, or her daughter, or whatever, whoever's talking to them, to get to that level of adult communication where it's like the parent looks at the child like, wow, I really got to know you there. I didn't really know you. And that's so amazing. Then you see the infinite value of being able to communicate. It's like, wow, no amount of money would have ever gotten me that close with my mom or dad or my sister or brother. That it was a mentality that was worth trading all the resources, all the money for that. And as I've been down that path, because it's easy to make that decision or at least say those words and think you've made that decision. Then when faced with, do I pay some money for some training or not? Do I take this girl on a date, or do I buy this training or this other thing? Do this other piece of advice? Go learn fighting, get a membership at the gym or something like that. Or, you know, compromise myself and not go to the gym because of whatever, to try to get ahead in dating, or to put off, you know, learning communication because I'm just going to get better at my job until I make enough money that then I'll think about getting into communication. That's not going to happen. If you don't value it now, what makes you think you're going to value it in the future? And you get these attachments to things along the way, and you're asked or called upon to let go of more and more. And now, I mean, I've accumulated things after getting rid of everything, and there'll be a time, and there still comes times where it's like I have to let go of things, and it's a reminder. It's almost like a fast. Like I may have fasted for so long in the past and gotten used to the hunger pains and really endured it and, learned about my body and gotten good at fasting. But if I haven't fasted in 10 years, the next time you fast, you're going to remember, oh shit, that's me letting go of something I don't need. Yeah, I need food to keep the body up. And obviously, I'm not saying fast for 60 days and die. I'm saying, a day or two. And some of these, what do you call it? Insulin rushes that you'll get because your body has predicted times of eating meals. And so you get these hunger rushes that's anticipating. You start salivating out of nowhere. You're not even hungry because you're used to eating at that time. It's like the body is a puppet. And when you insert control there, the decision, and you let go of the body as the puppet, then you see more and more of what's you. You are behind the puppet. You're not the puppet. You are going along for the ride. You are a surfer on the surfboard going for the waves. And it's like that with so many things, and the possessions and the relationships and whatnot. And, so I was blessed with seeing an example in Arash Dibazar at the time. It was before AZD. And I'd studied all these yoga masters and been with a lot of high-level professionals in academia and whatever. And the philosophy of AD at the time was really breaking through the code of all of that. I was seeing the male-female in everything I was doing, and I was just astounded at how little I had been educated on the subject, how little I knew. It's like, whoa. And I was listening to the same lectures over and over, and I was trying to tell people about it, but they wouldn't have it. Maybe I wasn't good enough at explaining it, or they just didn't want to see it, or maybe there's some truth to being ready for the information. Psychologically, like you have to develop in certain ways for the puzzle piece to fit the puzzle. Otherwise, it just doesn't fit for people. That's why I actually cherish all the people that are following these TikTok accounts. I mean, there's some new people that are just scrolling through their feed and they see a live and they're here. And they may not even know who I am because they're on accounts for AZD. These are AZD clips that are on these accounts. I'm Yogi Chris. That was my intro. If you're just now joining, I live with AZD. But they are resonating with the information. And that's very close. That's what I was just saying about get very close with like your mom or dad or whoever through communication, where it's like you could be hugging a person and be so distant mentally, or you could be at a distance and be so close mentally. And so the people that actually admire and watch these TikToks or YouTube content, whatever we put out for free, we're close. We're closer than all the other people in the world, I think. In many ways, it's a generality. For most people, we're mostly closer. Then as you join Alpha Academy, we get even closer because we're agreeing on a lot of things that it's called undercut, or it flows under all the other minutia of life, all the other bullshit. Qualities of relationships, especially between men and women and men and men. I mean, that's what it is. And then really with everything, with your pets, with the trees, with life. With your own body. That's what we have in the advanced training right now. Return of the Beast is biohacking. It's like, it's a thing that we've been playing with and we've been mastering all along. And then we come across the information that's already out there, the science and whatever. And it's just tweaking this device. We're going from like a B-52 bomber to like, a stealth fighter jet, as a physical being. He does not live with him. Where is he? What do you mean? What do you mean I don't live with him? Somebody tell Johnny Blaze, tell this guy. He studied Dragon Ball Z. Yes, sir. Okay. So is this doing anything for you guys as I'm talking about burn? It's basically burn to your old life. Burn your old life. To be able to live with AZD, I had to do a lot. And it wasn't ever like that was a thing, a carrot at the end of the stick where I was doing all these things so that I could live with them. I didn't know that was an opportunity. And there were so many opportunities. I mean, all along the way, when wouldn't I have lived with my teachers? When wouldn't I have lived with my wrestling coach? I would have loved to live with my wrestling coach. So I thought. I would have loved to live with my academic PhD, with any of my yoga teachers. And the thing is as you get to know them closer and closer, you realize that you just really, like I'm talking, Era Luna is in the house right now, 22 years old, right? Yeah. I'm 37. So, all those years in a different lifestyle, I came across these guys. Like, I don't know how many guys you come across. I'm curious, like, that are masters at whatever they do, like just sincere masters. And like my high school wrestling coach was real good, but he wasn't a master of wrestling. He wasn't a master of coaching. Like I found some other masters outside of that. The guy's name was Ken Chertow. and he was Olympian and All American a bunch of times or whatever. And that was a master of coaching, and paid a bunch of money to learn it. And and I went to OU, and there was some master coaches there. That one of which was like my coach. That was like this master I was learning under, and I started under this master as of getting my master's degree. This guy in academia that was like had worked with $100 million companies and streamlining their process or whatever. Like he was a senior guy, well published, like all like tenured, all these things, like just a senior staff member at a big university. And then I moved to this other staff member. And then I meet these yoga teachers that are like 50, 60 years old that have been training and teaching for like 30, 40 years, like longer than I had been aged. I wasn't even that old. They've been teaching as long as I had been old and longer. And I met all these people, and I admired them each. It was like in progressive levels. Like Ken Chertow is like the worst. I wouldn't want to live with him at all. Like that guy is like, fuck, I don't even want to go into like the character flaws of that guy. He was good at producing winners in wrestling. And as a stat, that's the measure. And so each person was a winner in their stats of what they were measuring. But I kept evolving in what I was measuring. The wrestling turned into like the academia and the publishing, and it turned into yoga, it turned into flexibility. I was measuring my poses. And then, in the acro yoga and the business of things. And then I found the pickup arts and Vince Kelvin and Arash Bazar. And for the longest time, it was like measuring women and like women you get with and quality of women and this and that. And it gets more and more subtle to quality of relationships, that I'm measuring quality of communication. But when I met AD, I had all these other quote masters in my mind as like a reference, especially the yoga people, who some of them were clairvoyant almost. They tell you things that's like, I didn't know that about me. So a lot of people that can do that. But how they walk around, how they interact with their students, man. And then as I started studying Vince and Arash, I was getting such a contrast. I was like, you don't have to interact like that. You can interact like these guys. Why don't more people interact like these guys? And Powers, I'm going to meet you. And man, and I just saw that this is coming as just studying the first few lectures and coming and visiting AD at Arash Bazar in person, and seeing that this mentality, this invisible mind that we carry with us, is going to manifest your future. How you decide to act and speak from your body, who to interact with, where to put yourself, as down to we have now a process of when you wake up, what do you do, what are you eating, how do you exercise the body, what are you reading, all of the inputs to the body and mind, and how that's going to come out through your day, and a whole mentality that you take with you through your day. So, this quality of living, it's largely invisible because you carry your discipline invisibly with you. It shows in what you do, and ultimately in like stats and what you produce. And so quality of relationships is a very difficult thing to measure. So what you'll see someone on this path is they'll exchange everything that you can see for something you can't see. Like, why is this person getting rid of their whole life, all their friends? And it's not like they're becoming all reclusive, antisocial, and like losing all their friends. They seem to be doing something, but they're losing all their friends. They're losing all their possessions. And it's like, yeah, but they're gaining something, and they value what they're gaining a lot more than what they're losing. Memento mori. So, let's say Aaron Luna, he's here, and he's made a big exchange to be here. And so he's exchanged a bunch of time that he's going to be working with one of our, or a couple of our Kuseis down in Los Angeles and doing a work exchange for them. They sponsored him to come here. And so he's parting with that time, and he's parting with whatever else he would want to do, maybe play some music or ride a skateboard or ride his motorcycle or something. And he's valued this other thing, which is coming here and being around AZD at Base One, coordinating with all the guys that live here, how to live this player's lifestyle, this urban monk, shape-shifting, just out of this world creative lifestyle. And that's worth sacrificing 50, 60, 100 hours of labor to come here and do that, because at the end of the day, when you let go of things, you'll find yourself more. And when you find yourself more, you'll be able to connect more deeply with other people. because you can only connect as deep as you've connected with yourself. How am I going to connect with you more deeply than I've connected with myself? You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's see. We got a couple TikTok commenters. What's up? Laylee Butterfly, what's up? Just got the #1 gifter. Oh, right on, right on. Dang, there's a lot of comments. What are you talking about? Who are you talking to? We have a Zoom stream over here. It's the podcast. Let's see.
Captain,
Yes, sir.
it's Powerhouse.
Yeah, Powerhouse. What's up?
Hey, brother, I just wanted to comment really quickly on the fact that it's inevitable to lose peers. They were kind of like dead baggage, you know. What you said is very accurate. As we evolve, you know, we reach different and higher levels, and therefore, you know, people have told me, "Hey, man, you have changed." I'm like, "Yeah, I've changed, and you stayed the same."
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to just give that input that it's inevitable to lose dead weight. Ultimately, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people resist getting involved because of opinions of other people. They resist getting more involved. For example, if you ever see a guy join the program and you see him online live, let's say he comes 2 or 3 times, maybe even 20 or 30 times, maybe even up to 60 times, then all of a sudden he stops coming. A lot of times it's because he's come across information that he doesn't want people knowing that he's studying. So he's going to study it in private, in secret. And at some point, they'll either drop off or they'll come closer. That's what we're seeing. There was a guy on my Instagram live earlier that was when I was picking up Aaron from the airport, and he was one of those guys, but he's come closer now. He's overcome something. Maybe that suppressive person in his life is now gone, or he broke up with the girl, or he moved out of his parents, or he just found some more personal freedom where he can study what he wants to study, and he's not going to feel all like weighted down by other people's opinions. At the end of the day, the bottom line is he's weighing himself down with his opinions about other people's opinions. But we got to disconnect the lines so that we can move more freely. That's something as I get closer and closer and closer to AZD, it's invisible. Just like all of our mentalities and mindsets and disciplines, they go invisible until you see the person act and how they communicate or whatever. AZD is very freely transitioning characters and really doing this like kind of time warp teleportation, so to speak, with his center where he is a character. And that's what we're all learning, believe it or not. And we're getting better and better at it. I just had a great example of it for myself last night on the phone. And, you know, the ability to do that freedom of communication and where I communicate from and how to relate with people is not even a superpower. It seems like the most natural power. But it seems super because we've all become so numb with our upbringings in front of screens and being publicly educated by the government and media, how it's framed our mindsets that we're operating within divots or ruts in our own thinking that we're not even aware of. We're just it's like we're bowling and we're in the gutter. We're in the gutter and we're just flowing down the gutter and we don't even know we're in the gutter. We think we're bowling, but man, there's no chance until you get out of the gutter for you to go one way or the other. And they kind of run. And just came from the other angle. What's up? What's up? Lots of people online. Smash that like, everybody. Share, smash the like. TikTok, loving this. And people on IMC TV, YouTube, loving this. Lots of people there. Just eat it up. You know, I'm Yogi. I'm AZD. I'm Yogi Chris. I live with AZD. I run IMC Nation, essentially, most of it from the men's side. And, you know, all the advanced camps, in-person trainings, and such and so forth. So if you don't know who I am, that's who I am. Now, the willingness to let go of everything. We see this in relationships with girls, especially. Like, the girl has to leave her life behind to really jump on board with me. And, you know, sometimes, let's see, how do I want to say this? Well, you don't necessarily have to get rid of everything, but you have to be willing to. And you may not know how willing you are until you're faced with a decision that you have to or not. But, you know, we don't need to falsely fabricate situations that you have to get rid of shit just to test your loyalty or whatever. Let it come naturally. That's what I've learned. Let it flower naturally because even the effort to test somebody is a waste of my own life. Like, why would I go out of my way to do that? Unless I'm time pressed for something, like I have to fill a position or I'm about to die. And so I need to test who's going to be my successor or something. Even there, I think it should flower naturally. And, you know, I'm seeing a lot in the teachings right now, even in that analogy. Like, a lot of people will force something to happen faster than it needs to in that effort. And in relaxing that effort, you'll actually find a better choice of words to make it flow faster. It'll go faster when you stop trying so hard. Now, it still may not go as fast as you'd imagined or that you'd hoped for, or that you really, in your senses, you sensorily desire. But that's why you got to be nurturing a lot of different lines, a lot of options, a lot of alternatives. And I'm talking about women, but I'm also talking about in life. And you have to start measuring quality of opportunities so that you rank them and you give more attention to the ones that are more important to you. And then you need ethics and philosophy so that what you're valuing actually is bringing you value. You have to know. You might be putting value in things that aren't bringing you value. And it's going to be tough for you to learn all of the best ways to do things in life on your own. There's so many activities that we do in life that make our lives complete, that to figure out the best decisions and ways of doing things in all areas by yourself is reinventing the whole wheel of life for yourself. Mentors, starting with your parents, but then pick it up where they left off, and mentors will get you ahead with whatever they've evolved. And now it's going to come down to, what do you value in a mentor? So that's what I was telling Luna, was that as I evolved on my path, I found greater levels of discernment about what I really valued, until ultimately I was getting to yoga and I valued inner peace. The peace, I felt like you were talking about tension. Bro. For 8 years, I grappled like a motherfucker, just every day, sometimes twice a day, just banging heads and fucking pulling and pushing and breaking bones and smashing faces, cutting weight and all kinds of things. I had a lot of tension. And then 2 years, I did drugs after that, just like lots of psychedelics, frisbee golf, and guitar. And so I was really tense on top of tense. I was all wired and high strung and crinkled up inside. And then I found yoga, and I found a peace that I had never felt. My heart relaxed temporarily for like 10 minutes. But man, just to get above the water and take a breath, and you're like, oh man, even if you only got half a breath, it's the most refreshing oxygen. Then you go back under. So I started valuing an internal experience, and that evolved. And I saw what yoga teachers were able to do with women. They had big women followings. And then I found the pickup arts, and where I was lacking in social awareness and social skills. And, it was just a rabbit hole. And then I found some genuine presence like a yogi, but social skill like a master of any martial art, with a mentality that was like my father, like a warrior, like a tough guy. And just a lot of other qualities that I was like, man, that's totally possible. Like 2 arms, 2 legs, same language. I should be able to do that. I can do that. So nobody did I study along the way, all the yoga teachers and academics and everything. Did I not think I couldn't do what they were doing? That's why I studied them. That's why I became a student. And, I had found something that as I got closer, it got bigger. That the mountain was closer, the mountain was bigger the closer I walked to it, actually. And it was like, walking up a staircase that it kept growing as you walked up it. Every 2 steps, it grew a step. And you're like, fuck, I take 10 steps, it grew 5 steps. Technically, I got closer, but it also got further. Fuck. And then you just and it's like never ending. Eventually, is there an end to this? Yes, when you become one with the Tao. And that's what I'm learning. That's actually what I study. But that is such a mentality and a belief system. Man, how do you exchange for that? What is it worth? These are just words until, I don't know, some people in the audience may feel these words more potently. It may affect you more. If it does, you'll sign up and get closer, and then you'll get more and more potent words that'll affect you. And then you'll come closer, and then you'll eventually be Aaron Luna, that you're living at the base his first night here, check in with them 12 nights from now. I don't know why I chose 12, but 12 nights from now. How long are you here? 12. That's why I chose 12. I just did that math subconsciously. 12 nights from now is not going to be the same guy. A lot of experiences coming between now and then, and they're not what you think. It's not like we're going to go skydiving and we're not even going to the strip club. We're not going to throw money. We're not going gambling. We're not going to do drugs. So what's going to happen? Well, you check in with him. He'll stream about it afterwards, and you'll know he's a different guy. Everybody he lives with, he's going to be a different guy. Because we carry beliefs and a discipline that's invisible, but it's well sharpened, well honed. It's toned, it's tight, it's right where we want it. And it's organic. So it's modifying each and every day. Each and every day. I did biohacking today a couple times, and it's changing my body. My heart valves are different. My body fat's different. In the last 3 days, my body fat's different, I can tell. It's looser, which I think means the muscle is hardening up underneath and it's about to burn off. So, and I'm no rookie. I'm no shorty at, the body. Okay, so I think we might have a bunch of questions there. We're streaming to a bunch of platforms and lots of people on IMC TV, Stoic Temple, shout out, Facebook. Y'all are there. I'm able to see all the comments here. Okay. Yes. Where do you get all these insane thoughts from? Well, they're not insane. Very sane. I feel like we've connected. Thank you. Thank you. Bro, can you explain why he said your mom, sisters, and girl are your enemies and are against you? Slim. We might be DMing Slim. You're on AZD_IMC, so that's Sultan's TikTok, which he runs with Tyler Powell. So why he said your mom, sisters, and girls are your enemies and are against you. Well, that would be me explaining something that he said. I think you should ask him himself. I could give you my take on it if that's what you wanted. What's my take on him saying that? I think that, there's a lot of education here that you might not be aware of. So the idea in, let's say, the Red Queen theory, which is a book, will be that although men and women are obviously a cooperative, we're in the same species and we need to cooperate as a general statement. Like, you don't need to cooperate with your baby mama or ex-girlfriend or something. But as a species, men and women must cooperate for the species to continue. Maybe now they can clone us or whatever, but in general, you get what I'm saying. Like, men and women got to cooperate, but you don't necessarily have to cooperate with that specific individual. In fact, no woman or man has to cooperate. We couldn't name them out because they will find themselves where a man and woman cooperate enough for a baby to be born and be raised for the next generation. So men and women are on the same team in that sense, but specifically when you get down to what is she trying to do? She's trying to secure the highest value male, in her opinion, whoever's the highest value. And as long as he leads her and satisfies her in many ways, then she won't have roaming eyes too much. But at some point, she'll be ovulating and he'll act weak in some way. The timing will line up the way the culture is. They'll live together and lose appreciation for each other. And at some point, their energetic immune system will be weakened to the point where she won't be respecting him and she'll have roaming eyes and wandering eyes. And she's going to keep him around to take care of her and the child, maybe if they have a child, while she looks for a better mate. That's the hypergamous strategy. And that's what women are, is hypergamous. That's not his strategy. He's not along with that. He's not like, honey, let's get together and then while you look for a better one. That would be if men and women were on the same team. Honey, I'll get with you while you look for a better one. That's not what men and women are doing. And yet that's what women are doing. But that's not what men and women are doing. What men are doing, well, again, the culture has brainwashed them. So they are, lying is basically what men are doing. Men are pretending to be with one woman and then shamefully exercising their genetic impulses to be with as many women as they can, really, without compromising their future life or their potential with future women. Like, they don't want to get with such a disgusting and diseased woman that it compromises their ability to get with future women. So they are making those decisions. But that's obviously not the woman's strategy. She's not like, honey, make me one of many and get with everybody you can. And when you have time for me, I'm there for you. Like, that would be if they're on the same team. So actually, men and women, their strategies are totally different. Their strategies are enemies, actually. She's seeking to control him. He is seeking actually just to be free. Not necessarily control, but at the end of the day, if life is to continue, then he wants to be with multiple women and have kids with whoever the best moms are, or really he doesn't care at the end of the day. But for life to continue, like the mom would have to be taken care of, provided for somehow, and the kids would have to be raised somehow to adulthood. And so it's in his interest to control her while he gets with other women. It's in her interest to control him while she looks for a better mate. They're not in the same strategy. So they're enemies. Now, the guy's question comes to why did he say your mom, your sisters, and your girl? That explains the girl, but why the mom and sisters? Well, I think I've given you a sufficiently deep explanation for the girl that I don't want to go into mom and sister. If you're still on and you still have a question about mom and sister, then please ask specifically, because I'd have to go into a whole other deep thing, and that's not what this podcast is about. But I have got enjoyment out of answering that question. So that's shout out to TikTok, guys. Alpha Academy is every day, 10 a.m. with AZD and the Tribe. It's a mastermind, it's dialogue, and it's way more profound than the freeloading clips, which you got to do for any amount of time, because I freeloaded also at the beginning. So, but at some point you want to put together $97 and get a month crash course on this stuff from the main guy. And all of us, I'll be there. I'm a student there also. Been a student for years. Always be paying that, that's like just what you do. Even if I transcend it, which I haven't yet, but I'll always be paying. I'll always be that student. That's just what it is. Like teacher student, just like the girl is always going to be my girl until she leaves, or if I have to kick her out. But I always, unless the girl has done something so criminal, I'm only kicking the girl out so that she corrects herself and comes back. Like I invested a lot in that girl, even the girls that I withhold everything from. A lot of me is invested in them. Like, because that's my time, man. I can't get that fucking time back. You took an hour of my time. You better grow as a woman. You better change yourself and make yourself better. That's what I'm doing. I don't got time for someone stagnating. Okay. So if there's any other questions, then go ahead. I have another couple minutes. Let's see. You're on Zoom. People, we gained some Zoom. Okay, is that the end? All right, that's the end. So I'm going to give you guys a little lowdown. Thank you to all there was like over 20 people on this stream. That's great. Continuously the whole time across all the platforms. And I'm not even streaming to them all. And there was over 20. I'm just kind of lowball averaging it. So shout out to all you listeners. I appreciate that. And all the people that watch the recording, give a like and comment and share it with people that you think they might like it. Now, Aaron Luna is here for residency. Residency is one of the more advanced trainings that you can do that goes in the camp of things as private moments or going in field with AZD. All separate. People do residency that they don't even go in field. People do private moments, they don't go in field. People go in field, they don't even do private moments. But those three is where it's at. You need to learn the discipline of how we live, morning, noon, and night. And you need the infield. You got to feel, what is it like to be relaxed in field with AZD and the Tribe? We are an extension of him. We've learned his ways and we're mimicking them in our own fashion. And it creates quite a stir. It creates quite an effect. It's a bigger energy field when we all move as a unit. Similar, like a girl may understand, if you move with a guy and you're on his arm and he moves left, you move left. And it's almost like you're reading each other's mind. You're moving as a unit. You feel more powerful as a unit. So when us guys move as a unit, when we go out, you got to feel that presence. And you got to see the effects that are created. Then also the private moment. This is sit in front of a live audience of your peers, the IMC Nation peers, and live privately. Eat some food, read a book, stretch, shadow box, do something, figure it out, pray. Live as if the audience isn't even there. Pretend they're not there. It's quite an exercise. It evolves a man very rapidly. And it's one of the ingredients here. So those are the advanced teachings. Before that, we have camps. You could do camps. They're called camps. They're online trainings. They're advanced. And then we have beginner online. It's basically the online trainings. There's these two parallel lines. There's Alpha Academy, which is soon to change its name. So there's the morning. Do you agree on statement that lies are not lies? They are different perspectives, different truths. No, because you could totally lie. Like, I'm a black man is a lie. I don't think that's a different truth. If that's a truth, then I'm a woman. That's a lie. Some people would say that's a truth. I say that's a lie. I don't care. You could say in your mind you think you're a woman. There's a truth. Your opinion is you're a woman, but you are in fact not a woman if you're a man. So no, lies, some lies are lies. And you should know that. Right? Okay. That's some feminist female fucked your mind up, getting you to believe her lie was just a different perspective. That didn't come from a man. That idea comes from a woman. Everybody knows it. Okay. So these trainings, you guys are starting with TikToks and YouTubes and, seeing AZD clips, Arash D. Bizarre clips, and then you join the Alpha Academy and you see the mindset and the group think, the mastermind, and all the higher level ideas and examples that are shared. And then you decide one day, I'm going to do advanced. Do you hate feminism? I think there's nothing I like about feminism. No, not at all. Because first and foremost, let me say, I wouldn't say I hate it. That's like first and foremost. I think it's a waste of energy to hate like that. But I don't have any agreements with it. And I think it's a big waste of energy in life, and it confused most of the planet. And it just really fucks with everything. I think we all have difficulty dating because of it. Now, first, I would say feminism is not feminism. They call it fight for equality. That's the modern definition. But feminism just means the qualities of being feminine. That's what an ism is a quality of something, like capitalism or socialism or communism or Catholicism. They're isms of being Catholic. So the isms of being feminine are totally not what modern day feminism is. So that's the first reason why I think it's not even what you think it is. Then, feminism is just totally, it's a strong arm of communism, or it's the soft arm, let's say. It's the soft arm of communism that they used to strong arm guys. Communists invented feminism to break apart the family so they could tax both people have to work while they inflate, and then the kids get indoctrinated in schools. So over generations, now we have our parents and our parents' parents are all brainwashed. And so when we come up with these new liberating free think ideas, we're suppressed left and right, forward and backward, up and down. Everyone around us suppresses us because we're all indoctrinated in the school system, because our moms didn't raise us, because inflation and feminism. So, I mean, if there is something to hate, I would hate feminism, but I don't hate feminism. I think feminism is done well for me because it's easier to have multiple relationships, because women, the right kind of women, when they hear the truth, they really break free of feminism. And it's almost like a magnet. It polarizes them. And also, it's easy to distinguish yourself as a man from all the other men that are brainwashed in feminist ideas. Capitalists promoted feminists no, they didn't. They're not capitalists. Again, just like we have a different understanding of feminists, you have a different understanding of capitalists. Capitalists don't promote feminism. And besides, feminism is not a capitalist idea. Like, so if they promoted it, it was out of a personal agenda that had nothing to do with capitalism, unless they promoted it as because they were selling buttons about feminism. And then they promoted it as a capitalist, but didn't even believe in it. Do you think feminism is responsible for high divorce rates? There's a lot to that. There's so much to that. And I wouldn't say feminism is not a thing that can be made responsible, because it's an idea. How do you hold an idea responsible for anything? So, that's a whole tangent to this episode. 6 p.m. every Wednesday. I think we can get into it. What I was explaining is, as you come to class, like, I would recommend Rob, just be my guest on class one day. DM this account. I'm the guy that you DM with on Bible of Arash. And come to be my guest on class. Like Friday, everybody, there's an open free public class, 10 a.m. Friday, Pacific time. Join. Just DM the account that you're on, or, on YouTube, you can find an email or something there on the account and ask to join. My newsletter is on the email, so you just sign up for the newsletter. I send out an email with the link, and you can join the free public class. The clips that you guys see on these accounts is from AZD's class. That's what the clips are from. So you're watching the free clips from free classes. The not free classes are better. And then the advanced not free classes, it's on Zoom. The advanced not free are even better. And then, of course, now you have in person, where we have gatherings coming in Los Angeles. This month, we're there twice with AZD, December 15, 16, and 22nd, 22, 23. Sorry. So again, to get involved with that, there's lots of things happening. It's always happening. So you just got to get involved. You start by signing up for something. My newsletter, it's free, or join the Telegram groups, they're free, or sign up for class. And then you hear about it. do the advanced training. It keeps improving your life. You're going to end up losing it all in the end. The end of your life, you're going to lose it all. Now, what did you gain in the process? Did you have some quality, meaningful relationships? Did you really connect with your parents, with your siblings as best you could, with relationships, with students and clients, with kids, your own kids or other kids? Like we teach kids at the Fight Center. The quality of communication to connect with a kid that's so numb from virtual reality and public schools and, you know, just suppressive people all around them, it's priceless. But you got to pay to learn it. Why? Because we got to live. And beyond that, I pay for other people. Good tidings, like the people that are closest to me, I support. So why not? That's what you do. You charge for what it's worth, and people are willing to pay for it, and you have time limited. So to give your time to the class, the cheapest class is $97. We also have lots of products that are like cheaper. So you can find those on our website. And then, well, if you want closer and more advanced, because we only have limited time, then you join advanced camps where there's less people, more one-on-one training, more questions and answers. Then if you want more time, you come like Aaron Luna and you live here. So in the kitchen or at night in between, he can ask questions. He'll be in the car with us to and from going out this weekend. He'll be able to ask lots of infield questions or just receive. Maybe he won't have questions. He'll just learn. But you'll get that one-on-one attention. All the way up to, I live with AZD. So does Fernando, so does Sultan. We put in more than you know. And I put in more than you know. And you don't need to know. Powerhouse is going to find out. Orlando's going to find out. Blood of Luna's finding out. Tony K is going to find out. You can't hold on to the old life and while you're begging for the new life and wanting the new life to come. Some people from the old life will come. My parents are still there. My sister's still there. My sister's actually better than when we started with me, like my relationship with her. My relationship with my parents is better. But I mean, everybody else, man, who are you living for? If not your family and, you know, the people that will serve your future. Okay, what is a compromised value and how to defend from that phenomenon to happen? Come to class, brother. DM the account. Come to class. That's what I recommend. That would be great. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you on the next stream. Lots of attendance. It's beautiful. Os. Jai Guru Dev.